Welcome back to Content is Profit.
Yeah, welcome back. How you doing?
Pretty good, guys. Today, we talked about how to get the attention of anyone, and according to my brother, guaranteed. And you're gonna learn
Why is it guaranteed?
and some very special methods, some very creative methods on how to create micro experiences to get people thinking about you and craving your call.
This applies to content collaboration and sales equally. So here we go. But at the time, I don't think we wanted them as a client anymore because of the whole process. And we're like, man, if that was the process, them as a client, I don't think it's going to be worth it.
Imagine pairing the coffin with the phone. Like put the phone in the coffin, and
as soon as they open it,
the phone rings. Epic. That would have been
epic.
Absolutely epic.
We've got some
Hey, I'm Luis.
And this is Luis.
And welcome to the Content is Profit podcast.
In here, you're going to get the insights, accountability, and drive to create consistently and increase revenue.
You'll hear from top entrepreneurs, creators, and anything and everything you need to know about content. All this while having a good time.
The goal of this podcast is simple: to entertain, educate, and turn your content into profit.
Ooh, baby. FONZI, happy Wednesday or happy Thursday for those listening.
That is right. Happy Wednesday and Thursday.
And Thursday, both of days.
That's right.
What are we talking about today, Fonz?
Today we're talking on how to get the attention of anyone. Ooh. Anyone, including, bad decisions, past lovers, it could be
your prospects, the people that you want to bring to your...
Yeah, there we go.
Wow, Fonzie. By the way, for those listening, Fonzie is recently single, as in like 3 months. And, he's clearly trying to get the attention of everybody.
No, I'm healing over here. I'm doing the inner work so I can move on to a better and healthier life.
There we go. Anyways, but in the context of today's conversation, we're going to be talking about how to get the attention of anyone, being prospects and people for your platform, for your show, for your type of content collaborations. This is foolproof. It's guaranteed. I promise you. I promise. Fonzie says asterisk. Say that it's not guaranteed, but
my disclaimer.
Fonzie's disclaimer.
My disclaimer is that it has a way higher, acceptance rate between the people that are on the other end. Than your regular outreach.
Agree to disagree. You try, it's going to work 100% of the time.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to try it and then let us know.
Yeah.
Send us a message.
And then also let us know at the end of the episode if you agree or not with me or Fonzie. Pick a bro. Okay.
I want to start with a statement. Okay.
Yes.
I want to start with a statement before we dive into this. And the statement is, people don't always remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. Oof. Powerful.
Slow down. Do it again. Say it.
People don't always remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. Now, why am I saying that? What do you think?
Well, I think, first of all, when you said it for the first time, Marley, an amazing guest, she was like, oh my gosh. And then she started using a bunch of her trainings. So that was good because Marley's MVP on YouTube.
She's epic.
Yeah.
But again, go proceed with a deeper explanation.
So, I mean, I always look back at examples, right, of different stories that we might remember or might not remember, and the only thing that kind of brings them back is that the feeling that you had at the moment of it, right? Like we had there's a story that we're gonna share down the episode that enraged me a lot, and I remember that story very clearly is because of the feeling that I had throughout that interaction, right? Or so to me, like it comes down to that. Fonzie, I'm sure like you come up with the phrase. So. You told me your definition. You threw me under the bus.
I threw you under the bus on purpose because I wanted to hear what you were thinking, And honestly, I look back, once I read this phrase, I started looking back at it multiple times in my life where I really don't remember at all, like the words that were said, but the feelings and the emotions of the moment are so clear. And it's mostly because that experience, right? It was either a terrible moment that is tied to very bad emotions, or it was an incredible moment that is tied to very positive emotions, but I cannot always, remember exactly what was said in those moments.
Yeah.
So I want to use that as a premise to, how to get the attention of anybody. And that being said is, we're going to focus a little bit on experiences. How can we create these experiences that can catch people's attention, or it can help you build a deeper connection with these people? And I think one of the best examples out there is what we've done with the six-figure platform, right? AKA content is profit. If you've been tuning in for a while, you've noticed that we've brought, hundreds of guests to the show. And the way we build relationships was by giving them this tiny experience, right? Content is profit. The show itself, we try to make it different, right? We joke around. We got the music. We got cool intros, and even the process that you don't see before we get them on the show, right? The way we send the message, the way we connect with them. Some of them we send them, pieces of content as gift, and all these things that create kind of like a little experience. And we've received the comments multiple times. And if you want to hear one of those, I think you can go 3 episodes back and listen to Todd Brown, one of our, favorite episodes ever. You can hear the words that he said after the end of the episode, which always bring tears to my eyes. But these experiences, right, has caught a lot of people to, say super kind words like, this is one of the most fun podcasts I've ever been to. And then guess what? When we reach out to them again, we have a relationship, they answer, and some of them have turned into clients. Some of them have started bringing us referrals. So it just builds opportunity.
That's right. So, how do we bring this into the obviously context of first the show, and then we've mentioned how to use your platform, whether that's your show, your Instagram lives, your things, your content, right? To leverage that and create business and new opportunities, right? When I think the way that we got raised and our education previously, for us, it was a little bit more natural to be a little bit different than anybody else. At least I thought personally, for me, I try to zig when everybody's zagging or zagging when everybody's zigging. Like every time, as soon as like I see something that's like very common, I tend to levitate away from it. So
troublemaker. We're going to get you a shirt that says troublemaker.
But when it came to, for us initially, to invite people into our platform, the amazing guests, I think we have 300 plus at the moment. We're like, how do we do this, right? And you start looking at all this content or people talking about like how should do the outreach, scripts, like not scripts, delegated, not delegated, and we've stayed really true from like day one at the same way. It hasn't really changed, right?
I think the perfect example is the first intro that we did for Steve Larson, which was like guest number 2 on the show.
Yeah, and we're not gonna describe it. You can go back and listen to the episode. It's episode 17 or 18. No, don't describe it. No.
Okay.
We've described it like 70 times in the show.
Listen to the episode. It's totally worth it.
But it is
full
totally
of
worth
golden
it.
boulders.
But after we started creating these micro experiences within the show, before the show happened, after the show happened, we started seeing that our rapport level started going up. And we're like, oh, wow, this might be a path for us to tackle sales, right? This could be a path for us to create more opportunities, to leverage it, because nobody else is doing it, right? And that was the comment, that was the feedback that was coming our way when we were executing things like this, right? And there's obviously things that out there that can teach it, but for some reason, I don't know, a lot of people tend to not do it. So if you decide to create these micro experiences and execute and take in those stats and the things that we're gonna break down in just a second, you're gonna be in a place of advantage, and you're gonna be able to get your attention, the attention of your prospects.
Are you?
FONZI good. No guaranteed, but it is guaranteed. I promise you. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna share this real quick. So we always talk about principles, right? Like this is not just a strategy, but it's like, what is the principle behind creating these great experiences and connection? And honestly, I think first of all is having the intention, right? Like the intention of wanting to properly connect to the other person and not just, hey, I need the numbers, I just need to get them on the platform, right? Like we really want to connect with this other person. And for that, there's actually some cool resources that we read throughout our time that really help us out, that I think they could help you out as well a little bit. And we're going to link them in the notes, so make sure you check them out. But I want to mention two, and one of them comes with a pretty interesting story. Actually, I just remember this.
Okay.
How
did it make you feel?
I always recommend the book that my mom first gave me, our mom, because it's not just my mom. I always recommend the book that our mom gave me when I first came to the US, which is Your Erroneous Zones by Wayne Dyer. But I've never talked about the book that my dad gave me. Well, our dad.
Am I adopted and I don't know it?
I think so. I mean, you told everybody for like 18 years that I was adopted.
Apparently not.
So
Apparently
this is my revenge. This is my revenge.
Yeah, when we're famous, you're doing the revenge.
So,
good play. Good.
That's right.
Okay.
So
Good
back
job.
to the book. So Dad gave me a very specific book when I came to US. I don't know if he thought, I wasn't friendly enough to make friends or whatnot, but literally the book that he gave me was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And it's a great, it's a must read. Literally, if you see a list of must read or top recommended books by a lot of entrepreneurs, that book is in there. And it's because it teaches you how to build deep, real connections, be intentional about these connections. And then if you pair that with the Ultimate Sales Machine, right? Which is by Chet Holmes, the creator of Dream 100.
And some to in August. And Amanda Holmes coming up. Yep, launching soon.
That's right. That's going to be epic. We're definitely going to do something about that. If you pair those two together, right? How to Win Friends and Influence People and the Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes, you're going to have a very solid foundation to start building very strong relationships. And I would say the Ultimate Sales Machine is a great kickstart to what we're talking about today on that first step of the outreach. How do we get the attention of people in this sea of noise? Yeah. And then How to Win Friends is the step of how do I maintain and keep that relationship?
Yeah, which you've been working really hard lately on.
On keeping relationships?
Yeah.
Have I?
You have your personal CRM on your phone that... you took to the event. Have you forgotten about it?
No.
Okay.
I've checked about it. I checked around,
I know we got some listeners like
keeping tabs on my people.
Keep FONZI accountable. But yeah, one of the concepts that Chet talks is the Dream 100, right? And it's being rebranded. It's going to be coming out very soon as the 47 step guide to actually getting the attention of those, right? And we're talking about this because we believe in that. When we first started executing it, we didn't know it had a name. We didn't know there was a strategy behind it. There's obviously more to it. And if you want to connect with Amanda and what they do on the boot camps, please let us know. But on our side, we started implementing some of that. And then when we saw it in writing, we're like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. This existed for so long. And it's crazy to think that the majority of people don't act this way, right?
Yeah. And in the book, he uses the example a lot of sending direct mail to the people that you want to talk to, right? Instead of trying to reach them through, let's say, email. No, I'm going to send them something that they're going to have in their hands that might get their attention, something like a fluffy package or something like that.
So the whole idea...
One second. So what we did on our end was like, well, we might not have the budget to start sending all these packages out there. And how we kind of like shifted that into our own way was by creating specific pieces of content for the people that we wanted to talk to, right? Kind of like what we call prospect batches.
Yeah. So there's, to bring a little bit of clarity, right? We use our podcast as a sales vehicle for the service and for the agency, right? You see at the surface the content that we're creating here. So there's two phases. We have the pre-phase, which is how we bring those people in. So how do we break down that process is, it could be a DM. A lot of people send DMs, written DMs, right? Could it be a voice note? Could it be a video, right? Yeah. And then as you move forward, right, the higher the authority level, that person that you want to bring into your platform or collaborate with, probably a little bit of harder access to it. So some things that we've implemented has been, hey, who around that person can we bring onto the show? Can we establish a relationship? Not just to connect with that, but it also complements the content very well. But at the same time, how can we leverage that relationship for an introduction? The Red Bull is coming back up. Okay. And then we bring him on. So that's part number one, right? Then the show happens. So we insert all these micro experiences inside of the show. For example, the intro, the music, the live aspect of it. Like, what are those elements that are going to make it a little bit different? That for them, these are added bonus points. Like in their eyes, we're like, oh my gosh, this is very different compared to the experience that maybe I had on my 5 interviews before this, right? So you create that impression, right? That you make them feel excited, you make them laugh, you make them feel happy. And then because of the first statement that FONZI mentioned, they're going to remember that experience. And then the post, right? On the post interview, depends on, hey, what's the objective, right? Is the objective to just maintain their relationship with which it should be always, right? And then after that, is it a referral? Is it an ask? Is it, hey, can we show you a behind the scenes? Can we show you a demo of what the product does, right? Which is how we've used our publishing platform. Then, because you created all these micro experiences ahead of time, right? You're going to be able to get that yes a little bit faster than in other mediums, right? So in a bigger sense, in the publishing, I just wanted to break it down a little bit for people. And then as a platform, again, it could be an Instagram live, right? It could be a collaboration on YouTube. It could be a podcast invite. Doesn't change the medium. It's just the experience that you can create. Make sure that it's consistent that way. Was that a good breakdown?
Way to confuse people. Yeah. I'm kidding.
If you're listening live, let me know in the comments. What was that a good explanation?
No, I think it was. Good. Yeah, that was really good.
I just think we need to break down the pre, the during, and the post, right? As far as like the podcast process. And then you can create these micro experiences on your sales process as well, right? Like Absolutely. For us, the production of the podcast is part of that sales process. But
and I think the key word there is micro experiences.
Exactly.
So it's not too overwhelming.
Yeah. And then if you zoom out, right? Like, I mean, how many touches do you need to convert a lead into a purchase, right? A bunch, between 15 and 17, I think it is the latest stat. So how do you create a high quality point of contact? How you create feelings around those points of contact? And then there's many ways, obviously. And we're gonna share a couple of them with you. A couple positive ones and then a really bad one.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah.
Ooh,
you ready?
I can wait.
Okay,
but before we go there, you might be asking yourself, well, this sounds like a lot of work, right? Creating all these micro experiences. Why would I do this? Well, let us share with you why you should do this, right? Here are some stats that we pull out from, obviously, some good sources. Data Marketing Association, up to 90% of direct mail gets open compared to only 20 to 30% of emails. Sure, simplifying in here, there's people with higher open rates in their emails, whatever. But in general, 90% of direct mails gets open. And just think about it. When you get a piece of mail in your house that either comes in a box or is fluffy or you see that has something inside, you want to open it. You're curious and you're like, what's inside of this? Is it a present or is a bomb? That turned dark real quick. Is it a present or I don't know. I was going to say something not very appropriate. But the other one is the response rate for direct mail is up to 9 times higher than that of email. Ooh. Do you want people to answer you, right? How many of your DMs just go to the request folder and then the people might not even see them, right? Or if they open them, they're like, they're just trying to spam, whatever. Just think about it yourself. How many of those do you open and actually answer? Probably a very small amount. Yeah. But again, if you have fluffy mail, something that really catches your attention, there is a bigger chance that you're going to answer. Either you're going to call the person, or if the person immediately follows up with you, you are probably more apt to pick up the phone and talk to them. And the last stat, do you want to read it? I feel like I read all of them.
I mean, you take over. Choke the mic, Fonzie. Only 44% of people can recall a brand immediately after seeing a digital ad, compared to 75% of people who receive direct email. So 44 versus 75%.
That, I mean, and that goes with the phrase that we said, right? People don't always remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. I mean, we're consistently just scrolling online and we are just we're blasted with ads and we just scroll through them. Some of them, they might catch your attention. But guess what? I still remember the Uline guide that is like 1,000 pages that we get in the email like every quarter with all the things that they sell. And we don't buy any of those things, right? But I remember it because guess what? It's a big ass book. It's massive. And it's like in the mail taking like 50% of the mailbox space. I know. And nothing else fits in there.
The mail person just leaves the door open and be like, hey, dude, your book is here.
And again, we always remember that.
Every time we talk about packaging and different things, and we've used Uline. Every time we do some kind of packaging, we order from them. So there's part of your proof. I want to share a quick story. I listened to it on an episode today about something like this. Sam Power from our partner podcast, My First Mail in the HubSpot Podcast Network. They were sharing a story about
hashtag invite us to your podcast.
Hashtag let's
Sam
go.
And Sean.
Yeah. Ben, if you're listening, I love your Mr. Beast episode, by the way. Okay. Anyways, tangent alert.
Yep.
He was sharing a story on he was at an event, right? And then he's meeting these two people that come up to him and they started talking, right? And one of them, they're both, right? Hypnotists. And Sam has said many times in the podcast that he's highly addicted to sugar, right? And that's one of and terrified of flying. And those are the two problems that he wants to like solve in his life right now.
Flying?
Yeah.
I feel like he flies. He probably, because of his position, he probably has to fly a lot.
Maybe. I don't know. But that's what he said. Like he has a fear of flying, right? So he's been trying to work on solving these things. And obviously this person that comes up to him has heard that. And she's like, hey, I can help you, right? And obviously what he shares is like, yeah, I'm trying to be polite. I don't want to, I'm going to be like, yeah, of course, let's find a time to talk. And then that's it, right? But these people kept sending emails and emails and emails and emails. And he was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not even going to respond to this, right? And his reaction, right? And he's sharing openly all this. It has a good ending. But think about like how many emails do you get for, something like that, pitches, LinkedIn stuff, like every single time, every connection that we make on LinkedIn is I expect that pitch coming and it's just an unread. It'll be like, oh, thank you, I'm not interested, right? So think about that. Or how many emails have you sent, right? Whether that's an invite, whether that's let me show you a demo, different things, an outreach, and how many answers do you get, right? So what they did, instead of sending them a package, he is part of a platform called, I can't remember the platform, but what people do is that you pay, let's say $500, $1,000 for a 15-20 minute consultation. So what they did, instead of sending them a physical package, is they booked a call with him. I think it was they booked 30 minutes for $1,000, and they jumped on that call because he had to, right? Like that's what he's selling, right? Yeah. And they were like, hey, give us a chance. We'll do a session here. It is a 30 minute session. We'll already pay you for it. So they did the session, and after a few weeks, he's like, "This thing works." And he's like, "I don't know if this is a placebo thing, but it worked." And this is the lesson right behind it. Whether that's a physical present, whether that's an investment upfront that you go and do this to go get your prospect, the principle is the same.
I mean, there's always going to be an investment.
There's always going to be
whether that is money or time or both.
So for them, they provided a great experience, right? The results, he says that they're working, and they're like, "Look, we don't want your business. All we want to do is to share this experience with everybody out there." Their podcast has millions of downloads a month, right? Of course, he's sharing this story. They shared the website. They shared the thing. They broke down a little bit of their business, right? And you want to hear the fee of these people?
Yeah. Tell me. I'm so curious.
$1 million a year to work with them.
Ooh.
They're very high-end clientele. $1 million a year to work with this hypnotist, right?
Wow.
And they have a bunch of claims and anyways, but that was so important. And I remember with the element of the Dream 100 strategy, or the element of this is the principles that we're talking about today are there present. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It can also be something like that.
Yeah. A little tangent here. Do you remember Jeremy, the guy that used to work for Grant Cardone, that we've kind of like, so he has like an ad agency.
Yeah. He's creating a ton of awesome content too.
Yeah. He creates a great content, and he has a very big community, and he's been very successful. And I remember very clearly that there was a moment in time that he worked with a hypnotist, and that supposedly that changed everything. Is that what we're gonna have to get? Are we gonna have to get a hypnotist?
Hey, Rob he's been a guest on the show. Rob and Kennedy, amazing people. They also work on the email marketing side.
I don't know if they're. We need to talk to them to educate ourselves. I don't know if they are those type of hypnotists.
I know. Go check out the episode. Let us know what you think. But awesome. What do you think about that story? I brought it up.
That's pretty cool.
You didn't have it on your sheet.
Honestly, my mind was just thinking we should definitely do the same thing. We should go on that page, and they just pay to talk 30 minutes with somebody, and they have to show up, and then get them as clients, right? Or at least try to.
I mean, I think a pitch right there will be pretty strong. So
that's what you say, how to get people's attention guaranteed.
I mean, that's one of them.
Is because if you go there and pay for their time, they have to show up.
I mean, I'm delivering on the promise, right? If you're listening, if you try this and you don't get the attention of it, please send me a message and I'll remove that from the podcast. But it's guaranteed.
That's good.
There's other things that you can do too that they're highly guaranteed, obviously.
I know.
With the stats.
We're gonna go from the scale of like, kind of like the low end, how we did something, to maybe some bigger things like this one, right? Well, I guess we started on the opposite end, on the big thing, and now we're gonna go with the little thing.
I mean, the little thing was very big for us at the moment, right?
It was huge.
It was episode 40 of the podcast. Right now we're 298 official, right?
The official.
331 published. So 298 official.
Yeah. So what happened in episode 40? What we did was I was reading a book from Todd Brown, Your Big Marketing Idea, if I'm, if I remember correctly. And we wanted to bring him to the show. We wanted to talk to him, right? And how did we get his attention?
For those who don't know who Todd Brown is, this is a highly respected person in our industry. He's been executing for more than 20 years. He's coached some of the best marketers out there. So for us, he's a very high authority level person that by bringing him into the show, not only we would learn a ton because he charges thousands of dollars for his time, but also we will be able to start building a relationship with him and bring leverage to the show.
So what we did is, again, intention, a little bit more of a personalized outreach. And yeah, we didn't send fluffy mail. And that's why I say kind of like, the smaller version of this. But what we did is we literally bombarded him with messages about his book, with, pictures, everything written. At the time, I actually didn't have the physical book. I just printed the book.
The PDF, yeah.
I printed the PDF, the ebook, and I had like a stack of pages all crumpled up with a whole bunch of notes. And I sent him a video specific for him. Hey, Todd, I absolutely love your book. We would love to discuss this in the podcast. And he answered. He was like, absolutely. I would love to. Also, send me your address because I'm going to send you the real book because I think it's depressing out there. He didn't say that the papers are depressing. But
it's like, how come you don't have the real book?
Yeah,
we'll send it to you.
He ended sending that book. He ended up showing in the podcast. And honestly, it's a moment I will remember for the rest of my life.
I mean, I think a lot of the guests that we had right after that, we will use his name and everybody's eyes will be like, oh my gosh, okay.
We leverage that for sure.
Todd came to the show, absolutely, I'll show up, and that's part of the value, right, of it. And I think it was a great experience. It was different, right? Probably very different to the outreach that a lot of people are doing online, right? So you're adding value, you are reaffirming that something that he put out there to the world is helping. Right. So do that. So if you download, the Publishing Pyramid Guide, Minimal Viable Content Guide, if you send us a DM and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, we'll definitely respond back to you.
Absolutely. Next story.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Okay.
Indeed.
Do you want to go horror story or should we share a little bit of what inspired this episode initially? I think let's share the video first and then the horror story.
Okay, you can share about the video.
Okay. Let me see if I can actually play the audio on this. Are you ready? Let's see. Oh, no, it's not playing the audio. Hold on.
Oh, well,
failed. Okay. Anyways, so this clip that came from TikTok last night, I logged into TikTok, Fonzie. I was like, I need to put a time limit. This clip from Bradley.
Like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah. This clip from Bradley came up and the title is 3 techniques to reach someone if you've been ghosted, right? And
we've been ghosted. And not just in the dating world. But by the people that we're trying to work with.
I've never been ghosted in the dating world. Just gonna say that.
Because you've been married your whole life.
a lot. Yeah, I went with Katie for a while.
Your wife ghosted you.
My wife ghosted me. No, definitely not. So anyway, I am like, okay, I resonate with this message, right? I resonate with this headline. What happens? And he shares some examples on how literally to bring physical packages to your ideal prospect or the higher up in the companies. And he talks a lot about the physical packaging. One was amazing. A FedEx with receipt. What was it called? You have to be notified when they received.
Well, the person that receives it has to sign
it. So what's in the package? The package has a phone, one of those the burner phones in it.
Yeah, I mean, it has a line and it's charged.
It has a line and it's charged, and you know what the phone number is. So as soon as they sign the package, you know that they received that phone, and then you give them a call to that phone. They're gonna definitely pick up the phone. They'll be like, "Hello," and then you'll be like, all right, here, this is Luis and Fonzie. You don't know us, but, and then you go into your pitch, right? So I thought that was super hilarious.
That was amazing.
Super effective. I cannot, we have to test it out with
I think someone. That's amazing because of multiple things, not just getting the attention with a big package, but also shows how proactive you are, that you are literally waiting to see his signature. And then as he signs and you know he received the package, now you're taking the initiative to call. Because I feel like a lot of these things, sure, you're calling after, you're following up like, hey, did you get my package? Right? Or you might be waiting for somebody to answer you. Hey, I received your package. This was absolutely amazing. Yeah. But I love this one because it's a little bit more proactive on the sense that, oh, you just received the package that I wanted you to receive. Now I'm going to call you, and the person that hopefully will pick up, they are like, man, you are extremely persistent. And I just want to share again the stat. The response rate for direct mail is up to 9 times higher than that of mail. And 90% of direct mail gets open. So you get a pretty big chance that one person is going to pick up the phone.
There's another example that he shares. He's like, hey, buy an iPad, right? Jailbreak it and record a video. So when they open the iPad, the video is the first thing that they see, right? So of course they're going to receive this package and they're going to see an iPad. Who doesn't open an iPad, right? And then as soon as they turn it on, because that's what people do when they receive iPads. I should know because I receive a ton of iPads, right? Apple sponsor me. I do have 2 iPads. I'm gonna put that out there, but
irrelevant.
FONZI like looked at me like, you do have iPads.
Yeah, but like, people don't care about that. They want the meat. They want the golden boulders.
So as soon as they open the iPad, there's gonna be your video, whether that's a pitch, invitation, a funny video, an ad, whatever that video that you send there. Obviously, an iPad. Not a lot of people have access to sending an iPad, but you could get creative, right? There's these cards now that you can record a video and put it in there. They open the card, they see the video, right? He's saying an iPad because it's a little bit more a sticker shock for the person that's receiving it. So
yeah. I think you need to be selling one of those $1 million a year products too.
Yeah,
nah, I'm kidding. Obviously, this is for a different conversation. You got to know your numbers and you got to know your acquisition cost. Because, you know, if you can afford to spend $1,000 plus, you know, shipping costs at all this and the follow-ups to get somebody into your world, of course, go ahead. But just so you know, this same thing works exactly even if your lifetime value of your customer, or you're just playing music now trying to interrupt me.
Party time.
You know, if the lifetime value of your customer is smaller, you still can do this, right? You can find different ways. Great examples that come from the Dream 100 book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, is that he sends, you know, little toys, or he sends a pen with something else, like a sharpener, right? And then he writes something clever on the note. So people have, you know, again, you make them feel something. Wow. And then you start remembering about that other person. So
yeah, I have one last try.
Wait, because we talked about these examples and there's like the phone, the iPad. So I just want to make sure that you understand that you can do this regardless of whether you're selling a super high-end, you know, product or something a little bit less expensive.
The least friction is like online. How can you create that micro experience, right? And obviously it scales from that. We're living proof of that, right? It does work online as well. So, okay, let's try to see if I can play the audio of this video. Hold on. Definitely not. Okay. I don't know why. All right.
I don't know why you keep trying. It just doesn't work.
Okay. Well, I try different avenues. FONZI, we got to keep trying. That's why if you get a no, you keep doing. You keep trying.
Are you editing this episode?
No, he's going out like this.
No, there's a segment where we're like quiet for like 2 minutes. We don't say anything.
Well, that's your fault because you could have said something.
All right.
Anyways, okay.
Fight. Pick a bro. Hashtag pick a bro.
Okay. All right. Horror story, or do you want to say something else?
You know the horror story better than me because it happened to you.
I know.
Because I don't get ghosted.
I'm asking you. You want to do the horror story or something else? I see another something else in there.
No, you just say it.
Okay. A horror story. No, there's nothing else. I was reading something.
Yeah, I was saying, like, dude, we cover everything. That's the one thing that's
okay,
left.
Horror story. Okay, so we, through this method, right, we connected with an amazing network. I'm not going to name them. And we decided to become members of this network. There was a monthly investment that it was pretty significant for us at the time. And we're like, you know what? I think this is going to be worth it. There's these amazing leaders in there. They publish a ton of content. We can help them serve. Maybe this is an avenue to get into the door, kind of like how this woman paid to jump on the call with Sam. So we become members of the network. We connect with like the product managers. We connect with the higher ups, right? And then we ended up getting a call with the CMO of the network. This is a network that I consider one of the biggest podcasts, C-suite networks out there in the online, right? And they have more than 400 shows under them, right? So all the CEOs, all the CMOs like joined them, and that was the reason that we applied. Now, we finally get on the call with them and we're like, hey, we're pitching the service. We're like, hey, this is going to add a ton of value to your people. At the time, they were working on a marketing side of things that they could offer to all their members, kind of like a content machine / sales machine on their back end. And we're like, hey, we can white label a service and we can jump on and help you produce all this vision that you have.
You're going into lots of details here.
I know. Well, people want the details. So that was important to mention because over the next 8 calls, there's a lot of behind the scenes. There's a lot of showing the process. We're completely open. If people want to learn the process, they can come and learn the process. We believe in execution. So a lot of people that come and see that and then they don't execute, they're still, it doesn't matter, right? So we're like, okay, perfect. Let's do it. By the way, I have not seen them execute this. But anyways, after 8 calls, we get ghosted, right? They don't respond to our emails. They don't respond to any of this. And this is where we should have continued on this strategy that we just decided to let go. There's a lot of feelings around it, especially for me.
Clearly for you.
Salty.
The resentment.
Not resentment. I let that go a while back. And, there was a lot of lessons that we learned there. And we were talking to our mentor, one of our mentors. Shout out to Jerry.
You're going to go on a tangent? Oh, no, this is part of the story.
This is a part of the story.
I forgot.
Wow. So when we're sharing this story, he's like, hey guys, this is what you should do. You should send this package with, in Amazon, they sell these like mini coffins, like mini Dracula coffins. And you should send that with a note inside that says, your silence is killing me. Because we never got a response, and we just laughed and we thought it was hilarious, but at the time I don't think we wanted them as a client anymore because of the whole process, and we're like, man, if that was the process, them as a client, I don't think it's gonna be worth it.
Imagine pairing the coffin with the phone. Like put the phone in the coffin, and
as soon as they open it,
the phone rings. Epic. That would have been
epic.
Absolutely epic. Wow.
But anyway, so obviously, I mean, we might have to like do this at some point. But fun story. I actually have a meeting with their CMO tomorrow for a different project that we're working on. So it's gonna be interesting.
Do they know you're in that meeting though?
I mean, they
saw my email. Are you going Liam Neeson style?
Liam Neeson, okay.
Right? Hey, I will find you. And I will sell you.
By the way, if you're listening to this episode after the 28th, July 28th, send me a DM and ask me how that meeting went.
We'll check it out. We'll see how it went.
Anyways, would you... if you're listening, like, will you have sent the coffin? Will you have sent something different? What have you done?
Or have you done any of these strategies where you send, packages, or you reach out to people in very interesting ways and create these micro experiences? Let us know. We want to hear about you.
All right. I think that's it. Because if I continue talking FONZI, it's going to scream at me.
Yeah, I'm about to backhand slap him.
All right, guys. With that said, thank you so much for tuning into the Contents Profit Podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite platform and on social media
at BIZBROS Co. That is right. Blitz. If today's episode helped you move one step forward, please don't forget to share with a friend and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.